Today we're going to be talking about something we normally don't talk about, and that is affordable housing in Florida. Usually all we're talking about is how there isn't any affordable housing in Florida. You can't get a loan that works in your budget, all of these things. You can't come up with a down payment big enough to offset the interest rate. Well, I have some good news. I know that normally here on my channel, listen, you can go anywhere. You can run a search on YouTube and you can find anybody talking about all the great things in Florida, and you probably know those things yourself, which is why you want to move to Florida. You know, we're not going to talk about the sunshine and the palm trees and all the wildlife and the Gulf of Mexico or the ocean. You already know this. So what I like to do on my channel is tell you the things that maybe are less good to balance it out, because there is nowhere in life that there is no state called Shangri-La. Okay, there just is not. Nothing is perfection. Most places have a balance of good and bad. So that's really what I strive for here on my channel. A lot of times we are talking about people that are looking to buy something in Florida for the purpose of either investment, or maybe they're going to retire to Florida, or maybe they're a snowbird. We don't talk a lot about people that want to move to Florida full time. They're going to uproot their family from Indiana and move to Naples. So today I'm speaking to those people. I am speaking to anybody who's thinking about moving to Florida full time, maybe with a family, maybe somebody who has good credit, but you just don't have a big down payment. You know you're going to have to deal with interest rate that's a little bit higher. Your credit is good, but with everything else going on, you just have not been able to save a down payment, and you feel like this is never going to happen for you, even though you've been offered a really good job in Florida, even though maybe you're a nurse and you know you can get hired anywhere in Florida. You don't think you can find affordable housing, and worse than that, you don't think you can come up with a down payment ever that will offset anything enough for it to be affordable for you. These are the people that I'm speaking to. Now listen, this is not an infomercial. You know, at night, at midnight, you're having some snacks and an infomercial comes on and somebody is screaming in the television that you can do these no money down deals. All you have to do is A, B, C, D, sun, moon, stars, and Saturn have to line up for a seller to do seller financing for you with no money down, or some crazy hard money loan that you don't want to do with the interest rate that's 21%, whatever it is. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about a real true way that you can buy a house with zero down, no money down, 100% financing without being a veteran, because I bet some of you are smart enough. My viewers are smart. I bet some of you were thinking she's talking about VA. I'm not talking about VA. Although if you are a veteran, you can do 100% financing, but what if you're not? What if you're regular Joe with a family trying to make it work? All right. Here's what you're going to do. Have you heard of a USDA loan? Have you ever heard of that? Maybe you didn't know that that's 100% financing. Now, you might be thinking, well, yeah, actually, I have heard of that, but I thought that was a farm loan. I thought that was super rural, and I want to live in Naples, and Naples is not super rural. Well, guess what? Let me help you with this. There are zip codes that will allow for USDA financing at 100%. And there are several zip codes, like I'm just going to give you one for an example. 34120 is a Naples zip code. That's about a 35-40 minute drive right to the sand. And I bet you didn't think there's any way possible you could get that close to the beach and have a USDA loan. Well, yes. So yes, there are certain zip codes that will allow for USDA financing. Let's look into this. Let's jump into the screen. All right, so we're going to jump here on the screen. And what I'm doing is I'm going to the USDA website. So it's eligibility.sc.egov.usda, or you could just type in USDA eligibility and you'll see the website. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go to single family housing, and we're going to go ahead and accept their disclaimer. All right, and now we're going to find your address. So I'm just going to give you an example here. Let's go into 34120. And it's going to zoom us there. And do you see this right here? See how it says this address is located in an eligible area. So that means that you could do a particular address. I could pick out an address and see if in 34120 it's eligible. But for the most part, if you have a zip code that's eligible, you're probably fine. Now, let me prove a point to you here. I'm going to come inward into Naples. Let's go to 34105. And we'll just hit go. Brings us in a little bit closer. And that one, and that tells us that it is not eligible. Because for the most part, if the area is a little bit more rural, like 34120 is, then it's probably going to be fine. I can go to another area. Let's go out into Lee County. All right, I bounced into Cape Coral here. Let's see if we can find anything in Cape Coral that might be eligible. Let's go to 33903. I typed in Estero, by the way. That did not come up eligible. All right, so North Fort Myers, not eligible. Let's go out to 33991. Nope. So now we're going to come over, we're going to go out a little bit. We're going to go out into Northport. And let's see if we can find anything in Northport, because generally Northport is going to be considered a little bit more rural. Now, I really want to stress to you, you want to be putting in an actual address, because there could be like street to street where it changes, but this will at least give you an idea of an overall area that will be approved or not. Let's do it this way. Northport, Florida, zip. All right, let's just bounce some in here. 33953. All right, so 34269 is also considered Northport, out by a little bit past Lake Susie. You can see here, Arcadia, DeSoto County, that is eligible. So that's an area. Could we get you right there around Lake Susie? That would be really nice, wouldn't it? So that gives you a really good idea. If it says eligible, it's going to be eligible. Now, the next thing you do have to consider is, are you eligible? So there are some guidelines with that. So we're going to come over here to income eligibility. And what you're going to want to do is pick the state where you're looking, in this case, Florida, and then you can pick your county. We will go to Charlotte County. And then you're going to answer these questions and it will tell you if you're eligible. So let's just make something up. Let's say there's 4 people in your household, and let's say under 18 there are 2, you have 2 kids, and let's say nobody's over 62 and nobody is disabled in the household. And then let's just pop in child care expenses. I must have done this for somebody. Let's put in $3,600. And let's say your base employment for yourself, this is going to be monthly. Let's say you make $5,000 a month, and let's say your wife makes $4,000 a month. We're just making it up. So here you go. This says that you would meet the income limit. So you have to fall into a category where you don't make too much, but you don't make too little. So they do give you a lot of leeway in that regard. You can see here that's household income of $108,000. So you want to do it that way and kind of check yourself out. That way you can kind of play around and see if that wouldn't be something that you can take advantage of. Now that is not just Florida. You can bounce that all around the entire US. And as you get in the Midwest, there's a lot of areas that are going to qualify for USDA. So now one other thing I want to bring to your attention that is really, really important. Let me bring you to this section right here that says, what are the credit requirements? Because somebody's about to get really excited about this. The program has no credit score requirements. Can I say it again for the back row? No credit score requirements. But applicants are expected to demonstrate a willingness and ability to handle and manage debt. Now, you might say, well, how would they know if I can do that if my credit is good or bad and they're not looking at it? So what I have seen people do in the past is actually do kind of like a budget and bring that budget in and line item out. Here's what I make. Here are my debts. This is my overflow. I can do this with absolutely no problem. And I've seen people get approved with credit scores that I personally know are down in the 540, 550 range. Now, another spot you might want to take a look is here at the fact sheet. That gives you a lot of good information about it. How to apply, you can just go right here to how do I apply. There are lenders that will do USDA loans, but I have found that many times the best way to get a loan like that is to go directly to USDA. So this should give you a good little brief outline of how you could possibly apply for a USDA loan, zero money down. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you in the next couple days for another video.